my camera is very annoying on my phone because it only records in like 30-minute segments. So I apologize for always having to do that, but I want to tell you it's happening. So our videos, by the way, are on YouTube, so you can always check out our podcast on YouTube. So what about like weekly splits? So we talked about kind of the idea of training the muscles now twice a week, and how do we split this up? So I'm going to give examples, and then give you a way to design your own splits. Okay. So the examples are just kind of like examples. They just give you an idea of what we're about to talk about. So you can use these if you want, but there's a million ways to set this stuff up. So this is what I used to do in school when I should have been paying attention to teachers talking. I was trying to design like the perfect program. So if I was training 4 days a week, I typically like to split that up into upper and lower body workouts. So I'm going to have 2 upper, 2 lower. So for the first upper, maybe I'm going to focus just on chest and back. So we'll just say that that's Monday, for example. So National Chest Day on Monday. So I'm going to do chest and back. So for my chest, I'll do a priming movement. I'll do a strength movement. I'll do my heavy bodybuilding movement. Then for back, I'll do a priming, strength movement, heavy bodybuilding movement. And I can either superset those, or I can do chest all, then back all, or back all, then chest all. So you can kind of vary how you do that. And then maybe at the end, you'll have time to do like a chest and back kind of pump set. So you definitely want to get your priming or pre-exhaust in. You want to get your strength movement in. You want to get your heavy bodybuilding movement in. So those are 3 exercises, but you have 2 muscle groups, that's 6 exercises. You can do 6 exercises in 60 minutes, like an hour, easy, okay? Especially if you superset the stuff. So then you'll have time to kind of do like some pump work maybe at the end. So that's an example of a good like upper body day. My second upper body day, if I did the first one on Monday, maybe my second day will be Thursday. And I'm going to do chest and back, but I'm going to do them quick and include some shoulders and arms. So maybe on my chest and back, maybe I'll just do like a pre-exhaust, okay, on my chest. And then I'll do my strength, by the way, only needs to be trained once a week. So when we said the strength range of 10 to 20 seconds, I really only need to do that once a week. You don't have to do that twice a week. So on my second workouts, I have a little more leeway with what I include. So if the first workout for the muscle group of the week, I did a priming, strength builder, heavy builder. Okay, then maybe I snuck in some volume work at the end. My second workout, I can do pre-exhaust, heavy builder, then a pump one. So that's, again, 3 exercises. And I can even shorten that if I'm doing like 4 days a week. Oh, crap, I just pressed the wrong button on something. But if I'm doing 4 days a week, what I can do is my second chest day, I can just do a pre-exhaust heavy builder, move on. Do the same thing for back, a pre-exhaust heavy builder, move on. That then gives me time to do my shoulders and arms. So that's what I'll do is upper body day 1, chest and back, kind of full exhaust the hell out of them. Then on my upper body day 2, not the second day of the week, but my second upper body day, I'll do chest and back with just like a pre-exhaust and a heavy builder, and then I'll spend the rest of the time on shoulders and arms. Now, does that sound like we're only doing arms once a week? It sounds like that, but actually when you do your heavy chest stuff, if you're doing chest presses, your triceps are involved in that, so are your front shoulders. If you're doing heavy back stuff, your biceps are involved in that. So you're actually getting secondary training in your arms by doing chest and back stuff. So adding in only kind of 1 day of isolation work on your arms isn't that bad because you're actually still using your arms. Does that make sense? So then if we think of lower body, I'm going to have 1 day where I focus on my entire leg, but maybe I'll focus more on hamstrings. So maybe, 2/3 of the exercises are hamstring based, 1/3 is quad based. Then the next lower body day, I flip that. So most people are quad dominant. So I tend to do my hamstring focus day first in the week when I have most energy. I'll do my quad focus later in the week when I kind of have like wearing out and I'm dying. So then calves and abs are kind of thrown in twice a week wherever they can fit in. So if you find out you have a short workout, you just throw them in at the beginning or the end. Or you can kind of do those at home or second sessions. So those aren't as important of muscle groups for aesthetics. Now, are abs important? Hell yeah. But they're shown more through your diet. If you still do heavy aggressive training, you're going to have a good abdomen area. Now, if you want to kind of emphasize that, you can add those in. So maybe on my chest and back day, where I said if I did my priming, my strength, and then my heavy builder, and then we talked at the end is you could add volume in on chest and back. Well, instead, you could just focus on abs. You could do some ab work. So with that extra time, you would get abs in instead of the extra chest and back work. So it's all about a matter of balancing what your emphasis points are. What if you train 5 times a week? Then there's a lot more leeway. So some people will split it up into like a push pull legs upper lower. So we're like first day they'll do push, which is chest, front shoulders, and triceps. Second day they'll do pull, which is back and biceps. Maybe you'll throw your abs in there. And then legs, maybe you're going to throw calves in with that. And again, it's going to be hamstring focused. So there's your first 3 days. Then your last 2, we know we have to touch on all those muscles again. So if you only have 2 days, you can't do a push, a pull, and a leg. You can't do a 3-day split. So you now switch to an upper lower. So you do, like we said, the push day, the pull day, the leg day. Then after legs, maybe you go to chest and back, as your upper body day. And then you come back to legs, and maybe at this time it has the quad focus rather than the hamstring focus. So there are a million ways to set this up. So what you really want to do for yourself is you want to list all of the muscles of the body on a piece of paper, well, muscle groups, on a piece of paper, and rank them in the order of what you want to focus on. So the muscle groups are back, chest, shoulders, biceps, triceps, abs, hamstrings, quadriceps, calves. Now, if you want that repeated, you can just hit your little 10-second repeat or 30-second repeat button on whatever system you're listening on. But those are your main areas. Now, can you break down back into back thickness versus back width, like traps versus lats versus low back? Yes, you can do all that when you're ready and you feel like that's within your wheelhouse of understanding and knowing how to do that. So you can just list back. And again, you're going to rank all those muscles in the order of most importance. And then for each muscle from the highest ranking first, you're going to place them on a training day. So if you have 4 days a week, you take muscle group number 1 and you place that on day 1. That's the first muscle to be trained that day. Okay, so you kind of go through that and you list them how you want them. Now, you do want to typically leave 48 hours in between the muscles. So that way they're a full recovery. So I'm not typically going to want to do legs on Monday and Tuesday. Now, I gave you the exception where I was kind of doing compound movements versus isolation movements. But again, that was short term. That wasn't long term. Okay, so the idea is to balance out the stimulus so that way over the course of 7 days, you're either recovering or you're doing the muscle. So you're training the muscle. So that's what you would do, is you basically rank all the muscles in the orders of importance. You place them in the days. Whatever's first muscle of that day means it gets the most emphasis. So maybe my first, I'm just making this really easy for me, okay? Is say you have 3 training days. And my order of importance is back, chest, and shoulders. Maybe you really want to get a nice upper body. So on day 1, back is first. Then day 2, chest is first. Day 3, shoulders is first. And then I'm saying, okay, well, I want to work on my biceps, my triceps, my abs. Okay, well, day 1 we said was back was first. Then maybe I'll put biceps as the second important. Okay, then day 2 is chest was first, but I can do triceps after that. Day 3, shoulders was first, but I can do abs after that. So that's what it looks like. So now day 1 is back and biceps. Day 2 is chest and triceps. Day 3 is shoulders and abs. So then you would kind of list in legs and kind of from there. So that's what you want to think of is trying to organize in the order of importance first. So that way the muscles that you want to emphasize the most get the most attention. So that's how you want to set that up. Now, if you're having trouble fitting everything in, again, you can reduce your strong points to only once a week. So maybe you have really awesome chest already. Well, just train it once a week. That gives you more time for other muscles to kind of get their emphasis. So we said that's one thing. You can also layer your exercises. So for example, if I want to do calf training, I don't have to do that separate from my leg training. So if I'm doing leg press and I'm doing a couple warm-up sets, I'll just add in calf raises at the end of my warm-up sets. So maybe I'll do my 10 reps of a warm-up of a leg press, put my feet down at the bottom of the platform, crank out 20 reps of calves. Then my next warm-up for legs, I'll do the calf raises again. So you can kind of sneak that stuff in. Then if you want to add in more bicep work, well, anytime you're doing back work, just pick an underhanded grip. So if you do say pull-ups with an underhand grip, you're going to get a lot of bicep involvement as compared to a wide overhand grip. So you can layer your movements to where you can get more work in than what you think you can get in. So everything doesn't have to be so separated. You can actually layer stuff. Then you can use intensity techniques to shorten the work time, the work volume load. So supersets, rest pause, drop sets, blah, 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 blah. And we have a handout for that if you're interested in intensity techniques, like how to shorten your workouts. Just shoot us an email, brutalironjim@gmail.com, and we can send you that paper. Okay? So, we're getting a little long-winded. I think we're already at 40 minutes. These always last way longer than I expect them to. But hopefully they're interesting. So this is some background information on how to set up programming for aesthetics. We talked about an individual workout. We now talked about a weekly setup. And there are tons and tons and tons of examples of complex splits to find what works best for you. So I had one person one time, we trained 21 days in a row. Then in week 4, they only trained 3 days. And the reason why they liked this was they liked the discipline of being in the gym every day. So they said it made them a better person. And it kept them out of trouble. So when they weren't in the gym, they kind of found themselves getting in trouble and or being lazy. So they're like, I want to train every day. And I said, well, give me some compromise here. I said, let's train 3 weeks all in a row. I'll structure your workouts with a whole bunch of isolations, a whole bunch of pre-exhaust, whole bunch of joint-saving techniques. So that way we can train 21 days in a row. But on week 4, let's only train 3 days and let's let your body recover and catch up. So what we did was that person had a wife and kids. So on week 4, they kind of stayed at home a little bit more. They planned some activities. They took the wife on a date night. So they tried to stay busy, but they stayed busy with other things. So that was fun for them. They freaking rocked their show. They looked amazing. So another one we have is have a person where we do 5 days a week, and then they have second sessions. So they do 2 days, but their second session is just 10-minute challenges. So maybe they set the timer and they do a push-up variation. They see how many push-ups and sit-ups they can alternate back and forth, how many they can get in 10 minutes. So we literally set a timer to 10 minutes and they fit in whatever they can for whatever muscle we're focusing on. So that way they're getting a second workout a day, but it's literally only 10 minutes. So it's very easy for them to do. They have some exercise equipment at home. Then you have people who actually do 2 days. So they'll do a big muscle group in the AM, like small isolation movements in the PM. So I have people that do that. Like maybe they have an hour at work. They'll train, at work. But they also train at night at the gym, or they have equipment at home. So like I had a lady who was a quote unquote stay at home mom. She worked, but she worked online, so she just got to kind of work from home. And so she did an AM workout, and then she did a PM workout. Looked freaking awesome. Did well. So then there's also like people who include like waves in training, where you have like recovery wave, like I said, like an example of that would be the 21 days in a row, then 3 days of work training in the last week. So that's a recovery-based wave where you're waving intensities. So for him, from weeks 1, 2, and 3, I actually increased the intensity and lessened the joint-saving type of techniques throughout the 3 weeks. So that way the 4th week we needed the recovery. And what that allowed was his body never knew what the hell was coming. So it was always adjusting and growing. So then you have desensitizing wavings. So basically maybe like 1 month you can emphasize mid-delt, training it 3 or 4 times a week. Then maybe the next month you want to emphasize calves. So you might train that 3 or 4 times a week and then pull the mid-delt back down only like twice a week. So then you can kind of alternate back and forth. Like you can have work like muscle group A, muscle group B, muscle group C, and you can do like that, wave that 4 times through for a whole year. And that allows you to get like miniature blasts on certain muscles. So there's a ton of structures like that when you start to learn this stuff, you can really have fun isolating out things that you want and personalizing the training style to your personality and your preferences and what equipment you have available and all these things. So hopefully this gave you some good basic information. The last thing I want to mention is cardio. If you noticed, I did not give you any way to include cardio in your workouts. Really, steady state and fasted cardio is stupid. Do not do them. Steady state cardio is a complete waste of your time. And fasted cardio is absolutely ridiculous because it wastes muscle. So steady state cardio is not a useful way to use time. You can burn calories lifting weights as much as you would burn calories doing steady state cardio. Why the hell would you not want to get the muscle damage and the muscle growth at the same time you're burning calories? Rather than just doing steady state cardio and getting jack shit on muscle progress, but you're just burning calories. So that's dumb. It's really ineffective use of time. So don't do that. The only time we ever really use steady state cardio. So again, I've trained people for pro cards. So I've pushed people to the top of this sport. And we don't do steady state cardio. I do not do any steady state cardio, zero. So the only examples we might have of that is that on a day where somebody's like, hey, this is typically my off day, but I want to kind of be up and move and I want to stay active. Okay, we'll go for a 20-minute walk in the park, that kind of thing. But they're not spending an hour on a step mill or treadmill or any of that kind of bullshit. That's absolutely stupid. It's a waste of time. So cardio should only be used when you've maxed out your muscle recovery ability. So once you can't lift weights anymore, then you do cardio to help you burn more calories. What type of cardio do? We do interval training, okay? So maybe they'll do high intensity for a minute, low intensity for a minute, and they'll alternate back and forth for 12 minutes. So all of my training I've ever given to everybody who ever's gone to pro card is 20 minutes or less. Absolutely, okay? So you want to lift weights to burn fat because you also get to build muscle. Don't do cardio to burn fat. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. So we have information on cardio. Podcast 30 is muscle cardio. How to lose fat without losing muscle. How you can actually use lifting weights to burn fat rather than using cardio. So that's podcast 30. And then podcast 120 is cardio, the basic types of cardio and what amounts you should do of them. So do not include cardio in your weekly split. Okay? You're wasting time. It's completely ineffective. If you have healthy, correct eating, which is an enormous assumption on my part, okay, is if you have healthy, correct eating, you don't need to do cardio because you're never overeating. So therefore, you're not having to try to get rid of a bunch of calories that you shouldn't have had in the first freaking place. Okay, so we have podcast 241 titled Nutrition Concepts for Aesthetic Athletes. That will give you everything you need to know about how to set up proper nutrition. So you should not be doing a continual reduction of calories as you continue to increase cardio to try to get in better shape. If your coach has you doing that, your coach is an idiot. Okay? They are uneducated. Maybe they're really nice. They can be a very nice person and be an idiot, by the way. So just because they're an idiot doesn't mean they're mean. It just means they have more to learn. So if somebody just keeps taking calories away from you and giving you longer and longer steady-state cardio, oh my God, they do not know what they're doing. Fire that coach immediately and go get someone better. Okay? Okay, so this is really long. Ended up being much longer than I expected. I appreciate it if you've listened to this, and I hope that the time invested was worth it. So if you have any questions, email us at brutalirongym@gmail.com. I'm super duper happy to help. So if you disagree with anything I've said, that's fun too. Tell me what you disagree with, and I'll make a podcast about it, and or I'll send you the answer individually. But if there's anything that you want to know more about, please reach out. So I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen to the podcast, and I want to make sure you get the best for the time you're invested. I want you to be able to listen to these podcasts and automatically be able to live a healthier, happier life. So if there's anything that's in the way of that, please let us know. Okay? So if you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. Also, if you like this kind of information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. The podcast is for you, so I know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email, brutalirongym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.